Everybody have a good week or a challenging week.
It was good.
It's
Good week. Mix A and B.
Praise God. There's always going to be challenges.
How was your week?
Yeah, there's always going to be challenges. Would you say, Koti?
I said, how was your week?
Oh, it was good. I got a lot accomplished. I've been thinking how the Most High has been working and how He did His work in 6 days. Whether that is a 24-hour period or that's a span of 1,000 years, doesn't matter. 6 days. And I decided that I want to do some work myself so I can look back on it and be proud of what I've done, and look at it and take inventory and see, how productive I've been and if I was able to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. So what I do is I make a list of things that I want to accomplish a week. And I go off and I check them off, and I was very successful. I didn't get to accomplish everything, but I did the things that I did, and I did it well. And then every time I look at the stuff that I've done, I'm proud of it.
Oh, yes, good for discipline. Great.
Yeah, it's a good thing, right? And so it reminds me of what the Most High had said. So I think often when if we follow the Torah in the way that it was written, and for us to get our understanding, we would see the beauty of the Most High. Okay, we'll really see the beauty of the Most High. I also did something that I want to share with the group, with everyone here. I was reading something in Psalms, and David had said, I think it was in Psalms 119. He said that your word is sweet. To me, it's sweet like honey, right? And it didn't say that to his tongue, it said to his taste. And I looked that Hebrew word up, and it was talking about the palate, your palate above the roof of your mouth. So I didn't, it's like, well, let me see what this is. Okay. And I want everyone to make a note of this because I want you to try it. I want you to see how this works. Because Yah says that David said it's sweeter than honey, right? That's what your words are to me. So what I did is I went to the kitchen and I grabbed some honey, and I just took some and I just put it on my tongue. Okay. And I did not swallow. I just put it on top of my tongue and I let it sit there. Okay. I did not taste that honey until I swallowed it, till it hit the roof of my mouth. Okay. So it's not, and this is the amazing thing, it's not just the tongue that gives you the taste. Okay. It's the roof of the mouth that gives you the taste. That's where your buds are. It's not just on your tongue. You can put anything on your tongue. You can put anything on it. Test it and see if it's true. See? So it's not Yah's word that just is put on our tongue that's going to taste good. You see? It's not until you swallow it. You understand? So we can put the thing in our mouth, right? But it's not until you press that against that roof of that mouth and you swallow it that you can really taste it. So when you guys get a chance today, if you got any honey, I want you to do that, okay? And then you'll see like what the word of Yah is and what David was explaining. So I did that, So reading the text is one thing, but really seeing, I was trying to figure out, well, why is he saying this? And so I went and did it, and it worked out beautifully, So it gave me more insight to what he was saying. And it also showed me that the taste is not just on your tongue. It's when you put it up on the roof of your mouth and you swallow it. That's when you get that taste. So that's really beautiful. That's what the Most High has done. Yes. Like Ezekiel swallowing that scroll. Yes. Praise the mighty Yah. Yes. So it's when he swallowed it. It's when you swallow something and it hits the roof. That's when those taste buds are activated. You understand? So the Most High just didn't put taste buds on the tongue. He said the only way it can happen. Okay. Well, who just did that? Oh, Kent just did it. Right? He just tried it. And it's true. You can just sit it on your tongue. All right. So, we're going to find out today about something else that has to be swallowed. So let's look at our text today, okay? In our teaching. Praise the mighty Yah. Yeah, so it's becoming alive to me. And I want this to be alive for you guys as well. So everything that we can learn. All right, cool rock. All right. Here we go. And feel free to ask any questions, raise your hand. You know, we're interactive. This week's Torah portion is about, is named after a man called Quo Rock. Okay. You will see in some text that is spelled with a K, but the actual spelling of it is with a Q. Okay. It's with a Q. And the Q in the Hebrew language, let me see, does this thing work? Okay, you don't want to work. Oh, there it is. It's with the Q. Okay. It's a Q, a kof, okay, which is this letter Q. A kof means to rise, okay? Okay, like the sun. And then it sets. Okay. So what we see about this in particular person, Korach, what he did is he rose up like the sun would. And then Yah is showing us through this man, there was a great rebellion. But just like the sun rises on this side and it goes all the way across, and then finally it has its end. Okay. So he had a beginning of his rebellion. His rebellion did not last. Okay. It's like the sun, it raises up. Forgive my drawings. It just raises up, and then over here it sets. Okay. So we notice that according to the Torah, this rebellion only lasts no more than literally 24 hours. That's it. This rebellion lasts for no more than 24 hours. Okay. I want to talk to you today about this man, and I want to talk to you today about what rebellion is, and and how detrimental it is to our community, and how detrimental it is to the family, and how detrimental it is to anything in terms of business or any type of interaction between people. Okay, there's a big misunderstanding about, you know, what roles do we play. You know, there's talk right now in society about gender roles, right? And so people are misappropriating gender, and they're trying to push their way. And so that's a picture of what? That's a picture of rebellion. We have, and don't take it personal, it's just the truth, okay? We have families that wives are not listening to their husbands, okay? They don't want to listen to them. They want to overrun them and rule them and do what they want to do. Not to say that everybody on here or anybody on here is doing this, but I just need to make it clear about what this is. Okay. So this idea of, and then also too, on the flip side of that, there's some men who are being, they're feminine, you know, they're very feminized. They, you know, they're not letting a woman do the things that she wants to do in order to, you know, have her home the way that she wants her home. So it goes both ways. Okay. This is not an attack on any in particular gender. It is just the truth. These are the issues that we face as a people, and we have to be able to recognize them and make some adjustments so that you and I can be clear of what they would call rebellion, okay, which is a crime against the Most High, okay. What is a rebel? Okay, a rebel, we see rebellion all through Scripture. And when I say Scripture, I'm not talking about the New Testament. The New Testament is not Scripture. If you're still reading the New Testament, you should read it like a newspaper article. You know, it's a whole bunch of writers that nobody knows who the author is. It's anonymous authors, you know, kind of like when you read you read little op-eds and stuff like that in the newspaper. So they don't know who the writers of the New Testament are. A great deal of them, they don't know. Okay, that's just the truth. But when we talk about Scripture, our foundation of our Scripture is based upon the words that the Most High gave to Moshe, which are the 5 books which they call the Torah, the actual Torah, okay? And so, you know, the 5 books that we read, which they call the Chumash or the Torah, are the works and the writings of Moshe, okay? And so with that being said, that's our foundation. So we don't look for, the prophets to give instruction. We look for the prophets to tell us about things that are going to happen. And they're only given to communicate to us of how the Most High sees things in different ways. But they're not there to change anything that he gave to Moshe. But a rebel is somebody that's dealing with a great deal of bitterness. Okay. That's a person who's bitter about the role that they're playing. They're bitter about the designation that they have. They don't like the fact that they're playing in the position that they're in. It's like even on a football team, a basketball team, or any other team, at a work team, some people just they're not happy. They're not satisfied, and they're not satisfied with the conditions. And that's what we found in our Torah portion this week, is that these are a group of people who were they were dissatisfied. And I think too, it's because they were faced with the verdict that the Most High said that you're going to die in this wilderness, so, over the next 40 years now, what did that mean something to the people who were like, 60 years old? Maybe not, they were like, maybe not. If there was people who were 80, that died, 40 years, you're going to die. Well, they knew they were going to die anyway. So was it really a bad punishment? It just means that you're not going to see the land. That's what it meant. So somebody who was, 21 years old, and he got the verdict that, you're going to be out for 40 years, but you're dying here. You're not going in. They bear the consequences of that. So, they didn't get a chance to go. So they had to live their lives in a place called the wilderness. And that created some type of feeling about it, right? And the bitterness, and he had a bitterness about what the Most High had said to them. But what I wanted to show you this week is that we can talk about the negative things about, what we see, because it's obvious about what rebellion is. And if you read your Torah portion this week, you would see like, hey, it happened on so many levels. But also too, what I want us to understand, and when I was reading the Haftarah this week, the Most High had, given Shemuel a message, right? He told him that, for the sake of his great name, this is which Shemuel was a judge, and he was an actual priest. He was given to the Most High when he was a baby. He was a Nazirite. His mother had dedicated him to the Most High. And at this in particular time in our Haftarah, he was, in the role like Moshe was. The people, they were feeling a certain way about his leadership and feeling a certain way about the Most High. And the Most High had told Shemuel this, that for the sake of his great name, Yahweh will never abandon his people. He will never abandon his people, and irregardless to what it is that we're doing, okay? Seeing that Yahweh undertook to make you his people. Now, I highlighted this word and changed it into this color because I want that to be our focus, is that the Most High has decided to undertake us, to make us his people, okay? Meaning make you his people, meaning us. So this idea of to undertake something means that Yah has shown a willingness. He's shown a willingness to take this task on, knowing that we are a bunch of rebels. There's scriptures that tell us all the time, go speak to my people, and you tell them, the whole entire house of Israel, that you're nothing but a group of rebels. That's all you are, is a bunch of people who want to rebel against what I said, okay? But irregardless to that, it's for the sake of Yah's great name that he will never abandon his people. That's something that I need all of us to continue to understand, is that the Most High is doing everything that he's doing because of his name. Okay, it's about his name. It's about his reputation. Okay, he will never do this. That's the only reason why he'll never do it, is because of who he is. Okay, so when he took us on, okay, and he took this task of bringing the children of Israel out of the land of Mizraim, and he took the task of securing their future and saying that I'm going to give you this land. When he took this on, he knew what he was doing. He knows who's in the midst of the camp. He understands this, okay? So what Yah is saying to us through our judge and priest that we have here in Shemuel is that the Most High himself is directly committed to us being his people. I know that's mind-blowing. No matter what it takes, you and I are going to be his people. No matter how many people have to die, he's committed to you and I being his people. Because of the greatness of his name. Yah has made it his promise that you will be my people. So no matter what we read today and what we've read this week, understand that this is the goal. Yah has made a commitment to do this. So with that within that commitment, and he's committed to this cause. And if we understand this, it's literally like him telling us, okay, if I'm committed to you, right, to make this happen, I need you to cooperate. Okay, if you want to be with me, to be my people, you're going to have to cooperate. If you're not cooperating, then we have a problem. A big part of the Torah portion this week was about the Mishkan. I know it didn't mention it that much, okay? But the Mishkan was mentioned just a few times, okay? So one of the times that it was mentioned is when they talked about bringing, offerings to the Most High or drawing near to him. Another time when this was mentioned was when you were talking about the dwellings. Oh, okay, let me see. This is not cooperating today. Okay, fine. All right, you don't want to cooperate. It's talking about, oh boy, it's talking about the dwelling. Okay, that's what it's talking about. It's talking about the dwelling place. I can't write right now. Just hear what I'm saying. So Yah's Mishkan is Yah's place where he dwells. And he talked about the dwelling places of Korach. He talked about the dwelling places of Dathan and Aviram, which are the people who were rebelling against him, and all the other people that were rebelling against him. So this is about his house. This is about his dwelling. And so he's fully committed to making us his people. And within that, if he's concerned about the Mishkan, then the Most High certainly is concerned about that which dwells within the Mishkan. Somebody tell me what's dwelling inside of the Mishkan.
Family.
The family. That's exactly right, Dr. Yared. The Most High is concerned with those who are dwelling inside of the family in his house. Okay. So when we look at this, we have to understand right now, you said we don't have a dwelling. We don't have a Mishkan. And this is why there's a lot of rebels today, because they feel like the Most High is still not concerned about the family. Now, do you guys see that the Most High is concerned about the family? Can you see that? Somebody tell me, how is Yah concerned with the family today, even though we don't have a Mishkan? Has he not? Has he forgotten about his?
He says that. He says in Deuteronomy, I think it's Devarim 30, about when we find ourselves scattered in captivity in the last days, that we return to him with our children, and also in Leviticus 26, where he says for us to repent, just not for us, but for our ancestors, our fathers before us.
Yes, that's absolutely correct, Akoti. So he's still concerned with the family. He's still concerned with the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's still concerned, okay? So with him being concerned with this, we need to understand, where do we need to get from this? So what he's concerned with too is how this Mishkan at that time was being operated. What was the service in that Mishkan? Okay. In different homes, there's different, duties and its responsibilities, as one would even have it at work. So there's this idea of service that's attached to the Mishkan. Okay. Our Elohim is a king. Okay. And so in his dwelling, he's saying, I want certain people to serve me. And I'm going to pick these people. Okay. So they have duties and they have responsibilities. Just like in your home, you should have the people that live in the home should be able to have duties and responsibilities. If we move away from this idea of duty and responsibility, it's a recipe for disaster. What do I mean? The only way that a family can function correctly is if everybody's doing their part. Okay. And so this was a big part of our Torah portion, where there was an individual who didn't like the service that he was doing. He wanted to do something different than what he was appointed to do. Okay. And so with that being said, I don't want to go directly into the Torah portion, but I want to talk about this idea of the families that Yah has chosen. Okay. So yes, Yah has chosen Israel, the sons of Jacob. You know, we have Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Zebulun, Issachar, Dan, Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Benjamin, Ephraim, Manasseh. We have all these different sons and all these different families. We have millions of people, okay, sons and daughters and grandparents and mothers and fathers. But out of all those people, the Most High has only chosen 2 families, okay? That's it. Not just 2 tribes. I'm talking about 2 families. And this is what the problem is that people don't like the fact that Yah has chosen these 2 families, okay? And these families that he's chosen, you know, they say that Yah has rejected them. So Yah has rejected these 2 families, and so they despise Yahweh's people, not these 2 families. They despise Yahweh's people, my people. They despise my people. And they regard them as no longer as a nation. So what he's telling us is that these 2 families that Yah has established that he chose, okay? Not that they decided that they want to do it. It's what he chose. And that's what the problem is, okay? When Yah chooses a family, or he chooses an individual, or he chooses a king, or he chooses whatever it is he chooses, people have a problem with it. They have a problem, and they despise Yah's people when they don't understand that I chose these 2 families, okay? And so the whole basis of our nation is based upon these 2 families. So if these 2 families are rejected and these 2 families don't exist, then Israel as a people are no longer going to be considered a nation. This is the problem that the Ashkenazi is having. Okay? They're saying that they're Judah. And they're saying, listen, they're saying this, and they're also saying that they have the Leviim, because they know this scripture. They know this text. They understand that. That's why they're calling themselves Kohen. They call themselves a Kohen, but we went over what a Kohen is the establishment and the foundation of the community. They're calling themselves Judah. You see? But what they're failing to understand is those who understand the scriptures, which is really Israel, understands that it's not just 2 tribes, it's 2 families that Yah's concerned with that are going to be responsible for our nation. Without these 2 families, there is no nation of Israel. Okay, I want you to understand this. But thus saith Yahweh, there shall never be an end to those of David's line who sit upon the throne of the house of Israel. Meaning, one of the family members that I'm concerned with is David. I'm concerned with his family line. I'm concerned with his descendants. I'm not concerned with nobody else in the tribe of Judah except for David. That's who I chose. And therefore, because I chose him, there shall never be an end to those of David who's going to sit upon the throne. Okay? Never. We'll also find that he tells us that there shall there ever be, nor shall there ever be, an end to the line of the Leviim. He's making reference to Aharon's family, who are priests before me. It'll never be an end to them either. Of those who present burnt offerings and turn the grain offering to smoke and perform sacrifices continually. There will never be an end to these people, to these families. Okay? Thus saith Yahweh, if you could break my covenant with the day and my covenant with the night, so that day and night should not come at their proper time, Only then could my covenant with my servant David be broken, so that he would not have a descendant reigning upon his throne, or with the Leviim who are Kohanim to minister to me. So based upon the relationship that the Most High has with David and with the Leviim, is directly connected to the day and the night. It's a creative work. They're directly connected to creation. The agreement that the Most High has with these two families is directly connected to creation. So when Yah has made the covenant with the day and the night, saying that you shall rise and you shall come at night, and this is the time that you come, and this is when the sun. So when we talk about the day, we're talking about light. When we're talking about the night, we're talking about darkness. I have set a time for that to happen. And if this ever stops happening, then David will not be in a covenant with me. I'll break my covenant with David. I'll break it. Yah's not going to break his covenant. And I'm not going to break it with this family either, who are Kohanim, to be very specific. So their roles and responsibilities are directly connected to creation. And he tells us this. He says, like the host of heaven that cannot be counted, the sand of the sea that cannot be measured, so will I multiply the offspring of my servant David and of the Leviim who minister to me, which are the Kohanim. Again, making reference to the heavens, meaning like there can be counted, which is the stars, the planets, the galaxies. So how long is this going to be? When he talks about the sand of the sea, he's not talking about the sand of the seashore. He's talking about the sand of the sea, the sand that you can't see. It'll never be measured, and it cannot be. And therefore, because it cannot be, I'm going to multiply the offspring, the descendants of my servant David. So it won't be one man called Christ or Jesus, Christos. It won't be the Muhammad Shiach, Yeshua. It won't be him to be the priest. This is in direct contradiction to what the creator of the heavens and the earth has said. He doesn't want you to lose sight of this, okay? Because if we lose sight of what Yah has chosen, then you and I are the rebels. Yah tells us something about this family. His concern is for the house of Yehuda and the house of Israel. That's what he's doing everything for. You see, everybody's benefiting off of Yah's choices. That's what he's trying to let us know. The children of Israel in our Torah portion, even though Korach was part of the Leviim, right? And he had the responsibility to do certain things in the tabernacle at his season, at his in particular time, not all the time. Maybe he was upset. Maybe he was older, because, the service for that can be 50 years old. Maybe they didn't like that. Maybe he was, close to his service being done. And all he was going to get was the tithes. And that's it when he gets into the land. That's all he was getting. But we know for sure that he knew he wasn't getting that. Because why? Because Yah says that everybody out here from the age of 20 and up is dying. Everybody. Okay? I will restore the fortunes of Yehuda and Israel, and I will rebuild them as of old. To what? To help the family. I will purge them of all the sins that they've committed against me. This is the same chapter where Yah says about these two families. This is how he's going to do it. When he talks about restoring their fortunes, people, he's talking about putting a king back over them. Okay? When he talks about building the ruins of old, someone has to give a decree to do such a thing. It's not going to be some hocus pocus and magic show. And I will purge them of all the sins that they've committed against me through what? Through a priest who's going to come and he's going to purify them. He's going to go through the regulations that I have set in place for him to perform. So without this priest and his family doing this, you cannot be purged. And this is what the Christians have been capitalized on. Because everybody knows, like, if we don't have our sins purged, then we're still in our sins. But they're failing to understand the sins that you and I are in are sins of uncleanness. that come naturally to you. You see, there was no forgiveness for sins that were done deliberately against the Most High. It was only because they made a mistake or just in essence of their nature of being human. Okay, so I'm going to purge them of all the sins they've committed against me. And I will pardon all the sins that they committed against me by which they rebelled against me. You see? So, and she shall gain through me renown, joy, and fame and glory above all nations on the earth. When they hear of all the good fortune I provide for them, the she and the them are directly connected. Yah's talking about her as his wife. Okay, he gives that title to know to show us the intimacy and the love that he has for them, for his people. They will thrill and quiver because of all the good fortune and the prosperity I will provide for her. So I'm providing for them, which is the children of Israel, and her, meaning the whole Israel, as his wife. Okay, who's going to be thrilling and who's going to be quivering? The nations. The nations are going to be tripping. What? Because he's going to do this for his woman. In those days, Yehuda shall be delivered, and Yerushalayim shall dwell secure. Okay, so what he's talking about the city in which he's going to reside in, that he's going to dwell. And guess what? When there is no security, there is no salvation. That word delivered there means to be saved. It means to be delivered from one's oppression, okay, and one's enemies. And this is what it shall be called. What shall be called? Jerusalem. Yahweh is our righteousness. Now we know today that city is not called that. So this has not happened yet, okay? I want to bring in this idea that I saw in the Torah portion that I want you to see. And it is that everyone is interested in trying to dethrone someone, okay? They're trying to dethrone someone, okay? So who are these? Somebody tell me, what's on the board here? Who are these?
Kohanim?
Close. Close. What's the name there? Look at the first letter. It's a C. Next one's a H. Next one is an N. Next one's an I. The next one's an M. What do you got there? Those are Kohanim. Kohanim are priests. Okay. So when we talk about this dethrone, what happened in our Torah portion is you got a group of people who want to dethrone the Kohanim. They want to replace the priest. That's what they want to do. Okay. They want to take over their position. They want to get them out of there and remove them from their authority. Okay. They are from the family of the, what is this one?
Rebaim.
The Lavaim. Okay, so they're from the same family, but they just have a different role and responsibility and a duty to the Most High. Okay, so they were trying to dethrone. All right, so is it not? And this is what Moshe had asked Korach in his group. He said, "Is it not enough for you that Elohim of Israel has set you apart from the community of Israel and have given you direct access to perform the duties of Yahweh's tabernacle, which is his Mishkan, and to minister to the community and serve them?" That was their role. But they weren't happy and satisfied with doing that in Yah's house. They didn't want to do that. A matter of fact, I highlighted this minister to the community because if we understand how did they get into their position, that's what I think sometimes we miss. We know that it's the Leviim, but how did they come to getting into this position? Can someone tell me how and why they were selected in order to serve in the tabernacle of Yahweh?
The firstborns were traded for the coin and the family.
Royal, Go ahead, Dr. Ured, tell us.
This was coming out of Mitzrayim.
You're 100% unequivocally correct. The Leviim got that position, everyone, because the firstborns of Israel were supposed to be the ones who are to serve and minister to the community. Okay, so I want to make this clear because I think we've missed this over our religious teachings. We were told that the Most High has selected the firstborns to perform this service, which is true. Okay, it is true. They were supposed to serve. Their responsibilities were to do everything that, man, I wish this would work. Korach was supposed to do. Remember the three families? Can't write right now. We have Korach, we have the from the Kohathi family, we have the Gershoni family, and we have the Merari family. Okay, those are all the sons of Lewi. Okay, he had three sons, and within those three sons, Yah decided, well, I'm going to pick out of the Kohath family, I'm going to pick Aharon and his sons to perform the duties, right? To be priest to me, right? But also too, I'm going to use the priest, I'm going to use the Leviim to replace the firstborn of Israel. So the Most High had already intended and already called the family of Aaron, okay, to be the priest, okay? The firstborns were only supposed to be doing the maintenance on the tabernacle. That's what they were supposed to be doing, okay? That's all they were supposed to be doing. So this whole big thing it's like, okay, well, you know, when Moshe is saying, isn't it enough for you that Elohim has set you apart from the community of Israel and is giving you direct access to perform the duties of Yahweh's, you know, Mishkan and to minister to the community and serve them? Is this not enough for you? Because the truth is that the family Levi did not have any inheritance. They didn't have any inheritance. The Most High determined that they didn't have any inheritance in the land when he gave them this position. But he was replacing the firstborns of Israel for those responsibilities. Not the firstborns of Israel were not going to be the priests who go in front of Yah. You guys kind of follow what I'm saying? The firstborns initially were just going to be doing the service to the tabernacle. Everything that these other three guys are doing, like, you know, Korach and his family and the Merari family and taking down the curtains and the poles and all this kind of stuff. That's all they were going to do. They weren't going to go draw near to Yah. They weren't going to draw near to the Most High. Okay. It was only Aaron and his family. So this is the reason why they try to dethrone them, is because they're saying, well, remember, he said, aren't we all Yah's people? Aren't we all Kadosh? Aren't we all holy? Remember they kept saying that? He says, now that Yahweh has advanced you and all your fellow Leviim, meaning your brothers, with you, now do you seek the priesthood too? They were trying to take over the priesthood. And you say, well, why is this important to know? It's important to know because everything that's attached to the priesthood has to do with the gift. Everything that's with the priesthood has to do with the gift, everybody. Okay? So I'm going to share with you all the different gifts that the priests are supposed to get. And now then it can better explain why Korach, to 250 men, Aviram and Dathan, and what they decided they wanted to do is because it's about these gifts. The Hebrew word for gift is called matana. Okay, matana. And matana means to give. Give what? Give a gift. Okay, so the Most High has spoke, and he further to Aaron in chapter number 18 of our Torah portion. He said, I hereby give you charge of my gifts. That because everything that the children of Israel were supposed to bring to the Most High was a gift. There were gifts to the Most High. Okay, the terumas, you know, when they said, hey, I want to be at peace with the Most High, well, bring me a gift. Somebody tell me, why is the Most High expecting gifts from the people? Why does he want gifts from them? Why is the Most High looking?
To know
Go
our
ahead.
hearts, to know our hearts?
Yeah, thank you. That's perfect because it is true. He wants to know your heart. And when they were giving his gifts to him, they were giving their gift to who? Who is the Most High to the children of Israel? Besides him being a God, who was he to him?
Savior?
Yeah, I'm your savior. That's for real. But what's my position? What title do I hold over the whole entire planet and over all things?
Oh, Creator.
I'm the creator, but I'm also the king of what?
Kings.
I'm the king of kings and I'm the king of the universe.
Yes.
You understand? So when you bring these gifts, Yah's looking for these gifts to be brought to him. And like Akoti Samia said, to see what one's heart is. So if you want to be close to the king, you would have to bring a gift to the king. Okay? That's what it is. So he's telling him, he says, look, these are my gifts. These are my sacred donations. Right? These are the things that I'm asking you to bring to me. When you bring these things to me, I want to make sure, excuse me, go back here. I want to make sure when you bring these gifts to me, okay, that you understand that they're sacred. Anytime Israel is to bring something to me, it's sacred, okay? And I'm going to grant them what? The gifts. I'm going to give the gifts to you. I'm going to grant them to you. This is the problem. This is why they were upset. All the gifts that were given through a sacred donation were going to be from the sons of Israel. They were going to grant them to you, to Aaron and his family and your sons as a decree. That means forever. Due for all time. So what this really was about, everyone, is not just a position, but what goes along with the position. And what was going along with the position was a great abundance of wealth. Okay, when we look at the priests, they're not wealthy. No, they were probably the richest people in the land. This was the rich. Aaron's family is the richest family in the land. Because you're talking about millions of people bringing things all the time. They're instant wealth. Okay, because this is what Yah has decreed, and that's upsetting for a lot of people. Okay. I hereby take your brothers, the Levim. He's talking to Aharon. Okay, so this is in chapter 18, verse number 6. We just looked at verse number 8. I put that before because I want to show you something. Yah says, I hereby take your brothers, which is Korach, which is the other ones, the Meraris, the Grushanis, and the Kohathis. I'm giving those to you from among the sons of Israel. They're a gift. They're a gift. I'm gifting them to you too. That's a gift given by Yahweh. What? To do the work of the tent of meeting. That's the gift. So I'm gifting them to you. So not only you have the gift of everything that they bring, but even their gift. They belong to you. They shall be attached to you and discharge the duties of the tent of meeting. Okay? They're going to work on my house. And they're going to service my house, but no outsider shall come near you. Here it is that the Most High is using the Levim, their brothers, to be attached to them. The word attached here has to do with the Hebrew word Lewi. That's what their name means. Okay, which is a lamed and a wat and a yod. And it means to be attached. It means to be joined. So I'm joining your brothers to you. Okay, they're a gift. And then they're going to do what they have to do in their duties of my house. And they're going to serve because I'm a king. Okay. But no outsider should come near you. So I'm using your brothers to prevent people from coming near you now. Now they're the boundary between you and the people. So no one's going to walk up and give you a gift. Nobody's going to come up and hand nothing to you. Okay. They can't come near you or they'll die. Okay, so we didn't see this. We're thinking that, they can walk up and give their goat and all this. No, they have to go through the people who've been attached to them, which are the Levim. So the Levim, in this sense, is like serving their servants to Aharon and his sons. See, that's the thing that gets us, is when the Most High puts somebody over us and then they become the master. They become the master. Nobody likes a master over them. So they're trying to take over. Okay, so now they're going to be attached. They're not going to come near Aharon. The reason why they're not, somebody tell me why can they not come near Aharon? Why is he saying they won't come near you? Why can't the people?
He's Kodesh. He can't be tainted with their uncleanliness as well.
Thank you, Dr. Yared. He can't be nowhere near nobody. You understand? Which he is really a picture of the Most High. The set apart of the Kodosh, the Kodashim of this man and his family is on such a high level that they're not able to go down, and they can't listen. They cannot descend down. Not in their mind. No offense, Dr. Yared, meaning to descend. They can't descend. They have to ascend. You see? So when we talk about, somebody putting a master over you, the goal is to have the person that's beneath them to ascend up to the level of the master. This is the reason why the Most High has put these people over them. And you can see within their own attitude and personality that they were about rebellion. That's why he didn't choose them. He knew who they were. You understand? Now, Nadab and Abiram were Aharon's sons, but they made a huge mistake. You understand? So making mistakes will cost you your life, but guess what? Aharon's other sons and grandsons were down for Yah. Pinchas, one of them. He was filled with the zeal of Yah, and he killed the people, and Yah gave him the priesthood forever because of his dedication to the Most High. Okay, so the idea behind this, everyone, is when Yah puts the master or someone above us and who is Kadosh, it is for the people to ascend to that level. You got to come correct. Okay, so anytime a leader's there, that's why he's entitled to the position he's into, is because he has to be able to satisfy the duties and the responsibilities given to him. And if he's not, Yah will replace them. You understand? So we have to ascend up to a higher level. Okay, because they're teaching the children of Israel about what it is. That's why he chose these families. He said, while you and your sons shall be careful, talking to Aaron, to perform your priestly duties and everything pertaining to the altar and what is behind the curtain. As a gift to you, I give the priesthood for your service. What? I'm giving you the priesthood. That's your gift. An outsider who encroaches shall be put to death, including the Leviim who were to go inside behind the curtain. They're dead. You see? So Yah has been giving these gifts, and this is what they were after. This shall be yours from the most holy sacrifices, the Kodashim sacrifices, the offerings by fire. Every such offering that they render to me as most set apart sacrifices, namely every meal offering, every sin offering, every guilt offering of theirs shall belong to you and your sons. That you and your sons is Aaron and his two sons. So you got millions of people out there, or thousands and thousands of Leviim, and you telling me that all of this is going to you and your sons? To you three? Is going to Aaron, Eleazar, and Ithamar? Are you in your kids, in your family? No, this don't seem right. This ain't balanced. We're all holy. We're all set apart. This too shall be yours. Yah's still giving out these gifts, the gift offerings of their contributions and all the elevation, that which is lifted up and rises up of the sons of Israel, I will give to you. Why? Because you're elevated. I will give it to you and your wives and to your sons and to your daughters that are with you as due for all time. It's yours forever. Everyone of your household who is pure may eat it. I'm giving it to you. Not only am I going to give you all the offerings, but I'm also going to give you the best of the new wine. I'm going to give you the best of the grain. I'm going to give you the best of the choice parts. I'm going to give that which they present to Yahweh, I will give to you. To you. I'm giving it to you. I'm not giving it to nobody else. Only you. You're going to be the one that's going to get it. Now, do you see the problem? Now, do you see why they were rebelling? Now, do you see why 250 of them with Korach decided, and Abiram and Dathan? Do you see now? The first fruits of everything in their land they'll bring to Yahweh shall be yours. to Aharon, Ithamar, and Eleazar. Everyone in your household who is pure may eat of them. Okay. This has to do with purity for them because of the level that they got to keep it on. So everybody that was living in Aharon's house had to have a standard of kadosh and purity. They could not eat of the things that were given to Aharon and his sons unless they were in a stage of purity. So going back to what Dr. Ured said, they had to keep themselves separate. This is why he said, if your daughter played a whore, you go take her child to the front of the house and you burn her and set her on fire. Why? Because she's supposed to be kadosh. So you can see how Yah is setting up the system because they're the foundation of the community. That's what they are. Let's don't lose sight of that. Okay. So these two families that Yah's talking about, everything that has been devoted in Israel shall be yours, Aharon. Everything. The first male of the womb that comes out of every being, whether it's a human or beast that is offered to Yahweh, shall be yours. Right? But you shall have the male firstborn of human beings redeemed, and you shall also have the firstlings of impure animals redeemed. I put the first of the womb because even the firstborns that come out of a human being belong to the Kohanim. They belong to them. Yah said they're going to be yours. So the question is how's the firstborn Aharon's? Oh, that's right, because Aharon belongs to the Most High. Wait a minute. So somebody help me do the math right here. If he talked about the redeeming them, if you've been doing your Torah portions, you've been following us for a minute now, how much did it cost to redeem a son, a firstborn male of Israel?
5 shekels.
Okay, now you tell me, a Koti, take your 5 shekels of what kind of metal was it, or what kind of value was it? Was it of gold? Was it of silver? What was it?
It's silver.
Silver. That's right. It's silver. So you got 5 shekels of silver. Now I want you to multiply that by, remember, the Most High said that you're going to be as numerous as the what? I'm going to make you as numerous as what? In the sky.
Sand.
The sand in the sea, the stars in the sky. So how much is that?
An indefinite amount number.
Yeah. So remember we read earlier, it can't be counted, right?
Right.
So so if he has 5 shekels per every firstborn, and I'm numbering you like the stars, and I'm numbering you like the sand of the sea, how much silver was Aharon's family getting?
I'll put it this way, goo gobs.
You understand? What I'm trying to bring out the point is the silver that was given to Aharon and the wealth that was given to his family was innumerable. It can't be counted, everybody. And so when Korach and them were doing the math, they were like, you know what? We can't let this happen. Because all Korach and them were going to get us the fruits and vegetables. That's all they're getting. The tithes, that's all they're receiving. They're not receiving any silver. They're not receiving any skins. They're not receiving any of that. They're not receiving any of the offerings. They're not receiving any of the meat. They're not receiving the best of this and the best of that. They went to go collect the tithes, but out of the tithes that they collected, they had to give Aaron and his sons and his family the best of the best that they had. They had to tithe the tithe. That's why they try to dethrone them. Okay. There's another part of the dethroning that we want to talk about, which I believe the Most High has shown this to us. This is where the children of Israel are trying to dethrone their king. All the elders of Israel assembled and came to Shemuel of Ramah and said to him, you have grown old and your sons have not followed your ways, because his sons were doing some bad stuff. They were taking bribes. They weren't really good in their judgment. Therefore, appoint a king for us to govern us like all other nations. We want a king. So they're going to try to dethrone Yah. Shemuel was displeased with that. They said, give us a king to govern us. So Shemuel prayed to Yahweh. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? When Moses found out that they wanted to dethrone Aharon and himself, he fell on his face. He prayed. He fell on his face before the Most High. He fell on his face immediately, everybody. It's not because he was afraid of those people. It's because he knew that these people were on a path to try to dethrone Yah's authority. When you try to get rid of Aharon, you're not just trying to get rid of him. What you're trying to do is replace the authority that Yah has in his house. Learning lesson for families. Listen to me carefully. And I'm not trying to push an agenda. I'm just telling you what it is. Yah has set up the family the way that he set it up. Okay. And anytime anybody goes against that structure that's in place, you try to destroy Yah's house, he's going to destroy your house. You understand? And listen, it won't probably be immediate. Okay. It's not going to be probably immediate for us because we're in exile. But what it's going to be is you're going to see the results of your rebellion. It's going to come to you. Okay. It might not be overnight. It might not open up the earth and swallow you, but it will be. You're going to see the consequences of your actions. And that's what he's trying to show us through this Torah portion. Anytime we try to replace the authority that Yah has put in place, you're not trying to replace that person. You're trying to replace Yah's authority. Okay. And there's a reason behind this, which we're going to get to. Okay. So they want a king. Shemuel prayed to Yahweh, and Yahweh replied to Shemuel, heed the demand of the people in everything they say to you. For it is not you that they have rejected. It's not you. It is me that they have rejected as their king. Okay. Because he took it personal. When Moshe got into this situation, he took it personal. He's like, what have I done to these people? Have I taken a donkey from them? And this is the same thing that Shemuel said in his prayer to the Most High, or he asked the children of Israel, what have I ever taken away from you? Have I done anything wrong to you? Have I ever lied to you? Have I done anything? See, so they were taking it, but they didn't understand. As leaders, they didn't understand that they were not rejecting them, they're rejecting Yah. The people also said to Shemuel, the people all said to Shemuel, intercede for your servants with Yahweh, your Elohim, that we may not die, because they realized what they had asked for, it was wicked. They said, for we have added to all of our sins the wickedness of asking for a king. Okay. That wickedness right there is where we're talking about. Okay. Rebellion is wickedness. Okay. Wickedness is called Rasha. Rasha. And Rasha means wicked. And it's not what we think it is. Okay. Wickedness is basically, just to give us the correct definition from a Hebraic perspective, to leave the correct path or way. See, so when they said that what we're doing is wicked, what they're saying is that we have added to all of our sins the wickedness of asking for a king, meaning that we have gone off of the correct path. We've gone off of the way. Okay, we're going in another direction. We've taken another detour off of what Yah has said. Okay, that path is what they would call a course. We've changed course. Okay, remember Yah's intent, and he's committed to keeping us on the path. Because the only way that you and I will become his people is if we get on the right path. And so, you know, this wickedness also too is what they would call criminal acts. Meaning that you're a criminal. Okay. And why is it so harsh with this word? Or why is it so, you know, it seems like a bad word, like you're a criminal, right? A wicked person is a criminal to the Most High. And the reason why they're called a criminal is because of them leaving the path. Okay. The path that Yah has set before us is a path of righteousness and a path of justice. It's a path of order. It's a path of, judgment. It's the path that he has. And so anyone who doesn't follow that path, Yah considers them a criminal. You're committing crimes and you're committing acts that are criminal-like. So rebellion is an act of being a criminal. Okay. And so because of this, anytime we do anything which would be called wicked from Yahweh's perspective, is hostility towards the Most High. See, a rebel is bitter. Rebels are bitter. Moshe tried his best to talk to, Dathan and Abiram. He didn't try to really talk to Korach and reason with him. because he knew that he was the one that was causing all this. He understood it. Yah had already revealed it to him that he's the one. This is the one. This is the problem. So let me go talk to them. Okay. Because you can sometimes you could try to deal with and reason with the rebel, but sometimes you can't. Okay. But back to this criminal act and the wickedness is hostility. So when we talk about this path that Yah is letting us know that you're on, if you go outside of the path, and the path that we have is the Torah, if you go outside of the Torah, Yah considers you wicked, and he considers you a criminal, and he considers you doing criminal acts and you're committing crimes, because Yah's a king. And Yah doesn't look at it like, hey, you just made a mistake, not a big deal. This act that you did, we're going to just let it continue. No, I'm not going to let it continue, because I'm not going to destroy my family, because I'm committed to being your Elohim and you being my people. So it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't matter how many people I have to kill. I know there's going to be criminals. People that have hostility towards Yahweh don't like the authority that he's put in their lives. This is what you would call opposition. See? This is what it is. You're going to get this opposition all the time. Sometimes you might get it at work, especially if in a position of authority. You're going to have people to come and challenge you. They always got something to say. They got always something to add to what you just said. And how do you deal with it? What would happen? They're hostile towards you. And you need to be able to recognize when someone's hostile. It says hostility towards Yah, but Yah is not telling you, look, I'm not just telling you that these people are criminals for the sake of me just telling you they're criminals. I know they're criminals, but I want you to know what a wicked person is. That's what I want you to. I want you to understand what Rasha is. That's you and I have to recognize this. Not because y'all don't know, but you got to recognize it. So when someone's doing something against what is the correct path, you should automatically identify that person and say, you know what? That's a crime and it's hostility. In this case, we're talking about against the Most High. In your case, at work, you're talking about your employees. They're hostile towards you. Anybody who questions your authority is hostile. All because they're not screaming at you and yelling at you and cursing you out doesn't mean they don't have hostility towards you. You see, the Most High, he's so wise and he's so loving and so kind. He gives us insight. Remember, it said the Torah is supposed to make you wiser than anybody else on the face of this earth. You're supposed to be able to recognize when somebody's being hostile towards you and when they're being hostile towards the Most High. When they don't want to stay on the right path, that's opposition. When they're opposed to doing that which is right, that's called evil. Truly, it is against Yahweh that you and all your company have banded together. This is what Moshe told these people. This is what he said to Korah. For who is Aharon that you shall rail against him? To be against the Most High means that they have appointed themselves against Yah. They're opposed to what Yah has said. I found this week in my study in the book of Mishlei, which is Proverbs, which is a guide for how to live a righteous life. How to live a life of devotion, how to be wise enough to see things and how to make comparisons. And what I discovered in that book was this, is that when the wicked flee, though no one gives chase. The wicked. So the wicked are the ones who leave the what? They leave the path. Okay? They're the ones who are on an incorrect path. They've left the path. They're the ones who are in opposition. So they flee when nobody's chasing them. No one gives chase. Why are they fleeing? Why are they running? Because they know what they're doing is wrong. That's what they're doing. But the righteous are as confident as a lion. Okay? So here, he's telling us, like, these people, he's making a comparison between the wicked and the righteous. A lion is confident, a lion is bold, a lion is someone who stands firm. They don't have to run. And when I read this, I thought about our Torah portion. And I thought about what happened when Yah came in and told Moshe to tell these people to move away from the tents of Dathan and Abiram. And what happened? They went down alive after he killed them. They went down alive into Sheol with all that belonged to them. The earth closed over them. They vanished from the midst of the congregation, and all Israel fled at their shrieks. For they said the earth might swallow us. So you know what that tells me? Based on this, it tells me that the individuals here about Israel that was around them fled. You know why they fled? Somebody tell me, why did they flee?
Because they thought
Go ahead.
that since they were nearby, that they would be swallowed up too.
But why did he think they would be swallowed up, Akoti? What was in it? What really came out? What was there in their mindset? It wasn't just them falling in. What was it?
Guilt.
They knew that they deserved to be destroyed. That's why they fled. They fled. The earth might swallow us up. It might swallow us because they knew who they were. Remember, these are the same people who are doomed to die in the wilderness. You see? But you can see an act of mercy. Because remember, Yah said, move out the way, let me destroy them. And that's when Aharon and Moshe fell on their faces and said, hey, well, you're not going to do this over one man sin, are you? So Yah is showing mercy and he's showing compassion. But even so, here you see that the wicked fled because they know that what they were doing was wrong, and they knew that we could actually go down there too. But if they were confident and they had trust in the Most High, they would be able to stand and be as confident as a lion. Our confidence should be in the things that we do, which is right, and we know what we do. We should know when you're doing righteousness, and you should know when you're doing wickedness. You know these things. You do. Don't try to act like you don't know. You do know. Okay. For those who forsake the Torah, praise the wicked. This is a comparison. But those who guard the Torah, fight them. There's a praise and there's a fight. What they have in common, the Torah. Either you can forsake the Torah, and by doing so, you're praising the people who've gone on another path, an incorrect path. You're praising the criminal. You're praising the people who commit criminal acts against the Most High when you forsake the Torah. And what it is when you forsake the instruction, to be clear. The instruction is to be, I point you in the direction you should go. So if you're in the Torah, you're being pointed in the direction to walk and live your life in. Okay? But if you forsake it, you're praising the wicked. So he's letting you know that there's only two paths. There's a correct path of the Torah that I'm asking you not to forsake. Okay? And there's the path on the Torah, which is to guard the Torah. Those who guard the Torah, who keep the Torah, who guard the instructions, are going to be in conflict with the wicked. It doesn't mean that you're going to stay quiet, people. It means that you're going to have contention with them. Yah's telling you that it's okay to pick a fight with the wicked, especially when you're on the right path. You understand? Don't let the wicked convince you, hey, let's run, let's flee. No, you stay right there. You see, just as much as Moshe told the children of Israel, get away from those tents, it could have been a time where you stay right here and don't move. We have to have the confidence of a lion when it comes to the Torah. That's right, Azania. They don't. Most pastors don't even bother to read the Torah. They don't even care. Because you know what? They don't care about the people. They care about themselves. So you're going to have contention. And I brought that out because I want to show you something in your Torah portion. Moshe is the most humble man in the world. The first part of our Torah portion, we saw that Moshe was, he's falling on his face a lot. And he was talking and he was, being passive. That's what he was doing. Because remember, he sent for Dadan and Aviram, the sons of Eliab, but they said, we will not come. He didn't go to them after that until the Most High gave him a command. So they heard him. And then when he heard that, he started crying out to Yah, won't have ever done anything wrong. He's being passive. Humility. Okay. So there's a time for humility, and then there's a time to stand up. Moshe was able to stand up when Yah gave him the command to speak to the community and say, withdraw from about the abodes of Korach, Dathan, and Abiram. It's only when we get the command of the Most High, he got up and he went, he rose up. We talked about earlier this week, he ascended to that level of thinking, and he didn't no longer have a passive attitude about this. He actually went into conflict now because he received a command from the Most High. He said, he addressed the community saying, move away from the tents of these wicked men. Who? The men are criminals. Don't touch nothing that belongs to them, lest you be wiped out for all their sins. So you're telling me that if they would have touched something, if they would have put their hands on something, that Yah was going to wipe them out for their sins? So what is he saying? Don't put your hand to anything that it was with wicked people. Because if you touch, Yah is very specific about things. If he tells us not to touch something, don't touch it. If he's telling them don't do this because you're going to get wiped out, these are not things from Moshe's mind, everyone. These are things from the Most High. The Most High is giving us clues about what I'm trying to let you know about the wicked. Wicked people, when you participate with them on any level, and you go and you start hanging out with them and you're touching their stuff and you're being with them and you're just, you're joining yourselves with them. Remember, the name, the Levim is about joining, attaching yourself. Okay. So these wicked people, right? He's saying, don't touch nothing. The moment you touch it, you're attached to it. Don't have anything to do with wickedness or wicked people or criminals. Okay. Because Yah says, I'm going to wipe you out. Okay. For all their sins. You're going to get killed if you touch it. And Moshe said, by this you shall know that it was Yahweh who sent me to do all these things, that they are not of my own devising, meaning of my own mind. If these people's death is that of all humankind, if their lot is humankind's common fate, is not Yahweh who sent me. Now he's about to get into a creative work that Yah is going to do. Okay, going back to Yah, connecting his works to that which is in creation. Scarcely he has finished speaking, and all these words, when the ground under them burst asunder, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their households, all Korach's people and all their possessions. I was talking to someone earlier about how the Most High, especially as men, what we need to understand is that, the responsibility for a man of his own house is very critical. Like if you do something wrong, you're putting everybody at risk. Your whole household, like I told you earlier, if you try to destroy Yah's house, the house that's supposed to be coming Torah out of that house, you're his Mishkan, Yah says, I'm going to destroy you. And this is exactly what Yah has done. He's destroyed their whole entire households. And that's because they were trying to destroy his. They were trying to destroy his household, so I'm going to destroy your house. Okay? So the earth opened up, and this was a creative work that has never happened before. Okay? Now, the scary part is this. Because it has happened, now that it has happened, because remember, he says, if this has never happened before, what I'm going to show you, and I'll go back to it, what I'm going to show you is this. He says, by this you shall know that it was Yahweh who sent me to do all these things, right? And this wasn't of my own mind. He says, if these people's death is that of all humankind, I mean, let us know that all humankind die. In a certain manner, they just die. He says, if their lot is humankind's common fate, it wasn't Yahweh who sent me. So this work that he's doing, everyone, is something that he wants us to remember. Okay. So I'm not reading a biblical story to you that you don't already know. I'm trying to tell you about what the Most High has given to us. The Most High has given this as a sign. And this is actually used in the Torah portion. Okay. So the Most High gives us a sign about how he's going to deal with rebels. Okay. And what he did was he introduced this idea. Moshe said to, Yahweh said to Moshe, bring back Aaron's staff before the testimony, right? To be kept as a sign, as an oath to the rebels. Okay. Okay. That's what it is. His staff is a sign, right? So that their mutterings against me may cease lest they die. Meaning if they keep talking, I'm going to kill them. I want them to stop right now. So this staff is called a mate, which I didn't have time to go over today, but we're going to go over it one day. This mate, this staff represents this oath and this sign. The Most High had told them to do this after the death of all these people. Okay. And then he reminds us about this sign. Because remember, do you guys remember what a sign is? What does this first letter mean right here? What is this?
Ox, strong ox.
Ox head, which means strength. Okay. And then this one right here.
2 sticks cross, a
Sticks
sign.
across. Yep, which is the sign. Okay. So the ox needs to go to its destination. Okay. That's what the ox is going to do. It's going to, I'm using my finger, so forgive my drawing. The ox needs to go to its destination. So that's the sign. Okay. So that's what a sign is. The Most High says, when I'm asking you to put Aaron's rod there or his staff, his mate, as a sign, and I want you to put it there because I want it to be an oath. I'm swearing something to you too right now, to the rebels. I'm swearing something to the rebels. Okay. Because their mutterings, their complaints against me may cease. So I want them to understand something about this oath, this sign. This, because the oath is a promise. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Why did he ask him to put this mate or this staff? Why did he say, why did the staff come into play? You guys read your Torah portion? Let's be interactive. Why?
The staff of authority.
It's an authority, yes. And so Aaron is the one that he picked, right? And when he gave the staff, he put the staff in front. And what happened to Aaron's staff?
It grew buds.
It
It
grew
budded.
bud. And what else did it bud? It budded. Yeah, it got some buds. What else did it have?
And almonds.
Blossom almonds.
Almonds. So there was fruit. So he was saying that this staff right here is representative of Yah's life. Like I'm telling you that this guy is the one that I chose. This is the one that I chose. Okay. And that staff is going to be assigned to you, to the rebels. It's my promise to the rebels. Okay. And what it is, I'm letting them know that you're rebelling against my authority, because that's what the staff is for, like Dr. Yored had said. It's for the authority, and it's an authority that Yah has given to this family. You understand? So if you go against this, then you are a rebel, okay? But I've made a promise to the rebel, okay? And now he's going to tell us what the promise is. But the sons of Israel said to Moshe, lo, we die. We are dead, all of us, destroyed. Everyone who has so much as ventures near Yahweh's tabernacle or Mishkan will die. Alas, we are doomed to perish. I mean, that's it. It's over for us. So they were really surrounded with an environment of nothing but death. That's all they were surrounded by. If you notice over the last couple of weeks, it's been nothing but death, 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 death. Okay. The spies came back, died. People were there, plagued. 14,000 just died. You killed Yahweh's people, dead. Plague on the people, run out, Aaron, with your censer, dead. You see? So all they see is death. That's all they're seeing. They're not seeing any life. They've been sentenced to die in the wilderness. So they really feel hopeless. Okay. And they're saying, there's no way for us to get next to the tabernacle. Yeah, Yah's tabernacle being here with us means that we're all just going to die. Just even being near it is going to cause the death of us. Does Yah want them to die?
No.
No. So I'm glad we don't have any New Testament believers, because they're like, yeah, he wants to kill them because they're evil. No, Yah's intention is not for Israel to die. You know why Israel died? Somebody tell me why Israel died, why these people die. Why were these people dying?
Stubborn and stiff-necked.
They're stubborn and stiff-necked, and they're nothing but rebels. And they chose to die. That's what he's trying to tell us. They chose to rebel. He didn't put that on them. He didn't make them do these things. Did Moshe choose to when he said, "You know that Yah sent me"? I didn't. This ain't in my own mind. Did Aaron sign up to be the priest, or did Yah choose him? Yah chose him. You understand? So the bottom line is this. Yah wants us to remember the sign of the rebels. He wants us to remember the oath of the rebels. Because they have what they would call a destination. Okay? That's what they have. They have a destination. In the book of Devarim, chapter number 11, Moshe begins to tell the children of Israel before they're going into the land. He was telling them everything that Yah has done for them up to this point. You know, the Red Sea, taking them out of Egypt, doing this, doing that for them, killing their enemies, feeding them with bread, giving them water. And he also says this. Because remember, this is one day that he's expounding all the Torah to them before they go to the land. And he's going to die this day. So he's giving his final message. And in his final message, I found it to be interesting that he mentions this. Okay. And this is written for us. He says, what Yahweh did for you in the wilderness before you arrived in this place. Okay. They weren't in the land. They were going to the place right before they were going to proceed to the land. And he says, what Yahweh did to Dathan and Abiram, along with everything else he mentioned. Okay. The miracles, the signs. Okay. So these guys here is a sign. They're a sign. If you notice, he didn't mention Korach. He didn't mention Korach here in this final message. He didn't even mention Korach. He mentions Dathan and Abiram. And he associates what happened to them when the earth opened up her mouth and swallowed them, along with all their households, their tents, and everything living in their train from amidst all Israel. So I asked myself, well, God, why would you share this? Why not Korach? Why is not Korach mentioned with these guys? Because Moshe is telling them to remember these guys. Remember them. Okay. You never hear about these guys in the New Testament. Okay. You need to remember this. You need to remember that the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them. Why is he telling them this before they go into the land? And where are they when he says this? He's telling about what happened in the wilderness. Remember what Yahweh did for you in the wilderness? That's what he told them. Remember. I want you to remember these guys. Okay? That way, why? I want to tell you. Because they're the sign about what Yah's going to do. As I live, declares the sovereign Yahweh, I will reign over you with a strong hand and with an outstretched arm and with overflowing fury. Okay? He says this in Ezekiel chapter number 20. And he's telling them this because remember, they have a problem with Yah being their king. So they remember they're trying to have, this is about being dethroned. They're trying to dethrone Yah. So he's saying, look, I will reign over you. I'm going to be the king over you with a strong hand. Okay. I'm going to rule you with the strong hand. I'm going to rule you with an outstretched arm, and I'm going to rule you with overflowing fury. That's how I'm going to rule you. Okay. I know that doesn't sound, pleasing or exciting. We just say he's going to rule over us. But Yah's talking to a group of people, and he's letting his people know that this is who I am. I live, and this is what's going to happen. Okay. I want you to remember, with the strong hand and outstretched arm and overflowing fury, I will bring you out from the peoples. And I'm going to gather you from the lands where you were scattered. And I will bring you into the what? I'm going to bring you to the wilderness of the peoples. And there I will enter into judgment with you face to face. Okay? What does this mean? I'll tell you. And as I entered into judgment with your ancestors, in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so I will enter judgment with you, declares the sovereign Yahweh. I will make you pass under the shepherd's staff, my authority, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. So you're not getting out of the covenant that you were in. I'm going to bring you into that. And I will remove from you those who rebel and transgress against me. I underline these words because right now they seem as if they are past tense, because rebel, and transgress. Okay. It doesn't mean, they've done it. It's finished. But the fact of the matter is, in the Hebrew scriptures, it identifies this rebel and this transgress as rebelling. That means present tense. So I will remove those who are rebelling and transgressing against me. Where? When I bring you back into the land. Or when I bring you back into the wilderness. So you're saying that people right now are rebelling against me? Yes. People are rebelling against you right now, and they're transgressing against you right now? Yes. Well, how is that possible? How are they rebelling and transgressing against you? They don't have your law. They don't have a priest. They don't have this. They don't have that. So how are you going to hold them responsible for this? Because you and I are in a covenant with Yah. Okay. And I will take them out of the countries where they sojourn, but they shall not enter the land of Israel. Then you shall know that I am Yahweh. So those who are rebelling against me, those who are bitter towards me, those who are transgressing against me, they're not going into the land. Okay. And how are they not going to get to the land? So if he brings them out, because he says, I'm going to bring them out, and I want someone to tell me, he says, I will take them, who? The rebels, the ones who are rebelling and transgressing against me, and I'm bringing them out. So if they're out in the wilderness, because that's where we're going in context, then what's going to happen to these who are rebelling and transgressing? If they're not going to the land, where are they going?
To die.
And so if Moshe is telling the children of Israel on the last day before he dies to remember Dathan and Abiram, then what is he telling us? Okay, the ones who are rebelling and transgressing, present tense, these people right here are doing this against him, right? Let's ask this question. Do they have families?
Yes.
They're husband and wives and their children, aren't they?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So Yah's intention is, I'm going to bring these people out, okay, and I'm going to deal with them like I dealt with your ancestors, okay? And here's the evidence of this. It's not something I'm making up. It's something we need to understand. He says, see, this is written before me. So this is so the king has had this written before him. He says, I will not stand by idle, but I will repay them to the full, your own crimes and those of your ancestors together. So we found out about the crimes today. So if they're committing crimes, they must be wicked. You see, and they must have left the path, and they must have left the Torah. And the ones of the crimes that you and your ancestors, if Yah is paying them for their own crimes, and I'm going to also those of your ancestors together, okay? Meaning I'm going to give you the payment and I'm going to give them the payment. I'm paying them and I'm going to repay them until it's full. So when every time that Moshe fell on his face, everybody, to save Israel, and how many times did he do that? He did it at least 4 times. At least 4 times. Okay. We know in Exodus chapter number 32, he did it when they did the golden calf. What did the Most High say? He said, let me stand and forgive them, and let me blot me out of your book that's written. Get me out of there. God says, no. Whoever sinned against me, that's the one who's going to die. But don't worry. He said, I'll forgive them, but the time for their punishment will come. And this is what he's talking about. I'm going to get you and I'm going to get them, because you and your ancestors together are the ones who are wicked. I'm going to finally get rid of you guys, the seed that's among you, because even though I I killed the ones, Dathan and Abiram, that fell in the ground. There were still others that were scared and ran because they knew that they deserved to go down too. They just didn't go down in that situation. I just used them as an example about what I'm going to do. So when the Most High did that creative work, everyone, he's letting it be known that that's going to happen again, because Yah doesn't do things for the sake of just doing them, right? Just to say that he can do it. He does it because after once it's done, it could be, it opens it up to be done again. That's what he's trying to let us know. That's why Moshe reminds the children of Israel in chapter number 11 of Deuteronomy, the day before he's about to die, the day of he's going to die, that listen, I need you guys to remember these guys and what Yah did. That's why I'm telling you. Because if you, and listen, think about it for a second. Don't let this go over your head. What Yah did to Dathan and Abiram, and he's telling the children of Israel who are going into the land of Israel, how does that apply to them? How does this apply to Joshua and the rest of them? Why does he want you to remember these guys in the wilderness? And why does he want you to remember that the earth opened up her mouth? And what were they associated with? They were associated with rebellion. And that's what the Most High is saying. That's why he tells in Ezekiel that I'm going to bring the rebels out, but they're not coming in. And I'm going to punish them to the full. I'm going to repay them. How he's going to repay them is I'm going to swallow them up in all of their households and their tents and everything with them and whoever belongs to them. That's what's going to happen. That's what it is. They're going to be destroyed in the wilderness. When he says they're not going in the land, where are they going? When we read our Torah portion and Yah set that fire down and he burned up those people who came with the, they got burned up because they came with the incense. And it was about Yah's whole, you better hear what Yah's telling us. It was about Yah's holiness that he destroyed them with fire. When he came to destroy these people, he didn't use fire. He used the earth and opened up her mouth and she swallowed them up. That's what he's going to do. Because Moshe is saying this to these people right now in Deuteronomy. There's no application. There's no application. Let me ask you a question. Throughout all the scriptures, has there ever been a time when Yah had opened up the earth, her mouth, and swallowed people up, except for in this instance? Has anybody else went directly down to Sheol? No. So you got to put the pieces together. That's the beauty of the Torah. The Most High will show you things about what it's going to be, because he is. I asked a question earlier: does he want you to die? And we all said no. So he's not. He doesn't want us to die. So he's trying to tell us how to stop from being put to death. He's trying to show us, like, if you guys don't change your ways, and you're against what I said, I'm going to come with you and I'm going to enter in judgment with you, like I did with your ancestors. And I'm going to let it be known that you're a rebel and you're going to pay for your crimes. And those are your ancestors together. I'm going to finally get rid of the people that I wanted to get rid of in the first place. Now listen to this. But as for you who forsake Yahweh and who ignore my holy mountain, what do you mean ignore my holy mountain? Ignore that that's where I rule and reign from, and that I am the king who set a table for luck, meaning this in particular God called luck, called God, and filling a bowl for destiny. I will destine you for the sword, and you will all kneel down and be slaughtered, because when I called, you didn't answer, and when I spoke, you didn't listen. You wouldn't listen. You did what I hold evil and chose what I do not want. That's why these people are going to be destroyed. Because when Yah's calling to them, they're not giving him an answer, and they're not paying attention and not being obedient to what he said. And what they're doing is they're holding on to what is evil. They're holding on to what's miserable, and they're choosing. They chose this. So when people die from the judgment of the Most High, it's because that's what they chose. It wasn't because the Most High wanted them to die. He did everything he possibly could. So the children of Israel, he says, listen, Aaron, You go ahead and you assign these people so we can protect the children of Israel so they won't come here and die unless they're going to die. I'm trying to teach the people of Israel that I'm not human. And I'm going to use you to show them the sanctity of me and the majesty of me. That's why I'm going to give you all the wealth. I'm just using you. And just like I gave you all the wealth means that I'll also kill you and your sons if you guys do anything in the tabernacle that don't supposed to be done, or you allow somebody to come into the tabernacle. I'm going to kill you and them. He says it in, I didn't put that slide here, but he tells us that. And that's what this is about. That's all this is about. It's about rebellion. It's about them trying to take over Yah's priesthood and to try to replace Yah's authority. And that's what Christianity has done. That's their whole purpose of getting rid of him. If you can get rid of Aaron and you can get rid of his sons, and listen, Aaron and his sons did not receive any inheritance. Levi didn't receive any land. So just using logic, if you were to get rid of them and say, well, that doesn't apply anymore, they don't have any inheritance. So they're trying to get rid of Yah's people. In essence, they're not trying to get rid of Yah's people. It also says in the book of Psalms, I forgot it's 81 or 82, it says that let's wipe them off the face of the earth. Let's get rid of them, because what we are is we are representatives on the earth that remind them of Yah. They're trying to get rid of Yah's authority. And he's saying that I'm not going to be dethroned from my power. Okay. And I've set people in place in order for that to happen. So that's what we're waiting on. Okay. All praise be given to the living Elohim Yahweh, who is the master of the universe. And he's the King of glory. And we give him praise and we give him honor. I thank you guys today for coming and sharing your time with me. I want to end with the what our usual thing. Let me see here. Where's my Kahui? Let's see here. Let's see. Get that out of here. Hold on for a second. Pull that up.